Welcome to String of Pearls. In this episode, we try to get back to work on the pilot house, but then we have to deal with an unfortunate situation in that when I went to crank the boat to try to move it, the whole thing filled up with smoke. So we have to investigate what the source of the fire was, if there was in fact a fire, and how we're going to repair it. And thankfully my good friend James Stoddard was able to come by and give us a hand. So we spent a lot of time in the engine room on this episode and finally figure out what the problem was and get it all repaired. So stay tuned. We get to learn a little bit about engine electrical wiring. So thanks for watching. Morning, everybody. It's Matt here, Cat Matt, after the storm, and I'm pleased to say no leaks. So inside the boat, there is no water. So that is great news, and that makes me feel really good. So we have stopped that leak for sure, and that is great. Very good feelings. So what I'm doing now, and I'm not going to record all of it, but just kind of, you guys have seen stuff like this before, so this isn't interesting. But Mikey, when he was doing some work, he cut in these things to support out at the end and didn't get a chance to finish it up. So I'm just cutting these pieces. I've got one here that I've already cut. And now I'm just going to epoxy the back of it. And then put some epoxy up here and then install it. And so we'll do that. There's 5 of them, and we'll go ahead and get those cut and installed so that we can finish up this little job. So I'll show you when it's done. Well, good morning. It's Saturday morning, early. The sun is barely up, and I am headed down to make some more progress on the boat. We've made a good bit of progress over the last week, and yesterday we got some of the first fiberglass applied. Ended up having to get a new palm sander because my other one tore up, and so I got a new one. So today I'm just going to really try to get a ton of stuff done. Okay, so on this, it's on the starboard side of the boat, and you can see that I've gotten a layer of fairing compound on there, and I've sanded it briefly right here, and so it's nice and smooth. There's a couple of low spots, so we may have to put just a little bit more on there. This is the area that I haven't done. So this fairing compound goes on nice and smooth. It's almost like it makes like a skim, and it's easy to sand. So it fills in all the gaps and all the holes. And so I've got to just finish sanding this off. And this side will be almost ready to paint. I'll just have to prime it and paint it. And I am going to put and then fair that. So a good little bit of work on this side left, but we're getting there. It's coming along. So more as we get going. I don't think you want to sit here and watch me sand. Oh, glorious sanding, as Mads would say. Okay, hey guys, well, we've got a real treat for you today. So yesterday I went to start the boat to move it, and the whole thing's filled up with smoke. It wouldn't start on the starboard motor, and I thought it was going to burn up. And so I called my good friend James Stoddard, who's right here. James knows more about boats than anybody. Say hey, James.
Hi, everybody.
And James found what the problem was.
So there is a bad lead coming from the batteries, and it overheated, and when it did, it melted the coating off of it, and it also burnt.
No, wait a minute. Didn't I just check on this a few weeks ago? Didn't I come down here to look for this problem? Let's take a trip back through time, shall we? Okay, we're down in the engine room, or we're going into the engine room. We've got some kind of a loose battery cable, and I am going to try and patch it up. I've got Bailey here. Let's see if I can, ouch. That's supposed to be back over there so that doesn't happen. Look familiar? That's exactly where James is, fixing the problem that I could have gone right over there and done. That's my 32 volt alternator. I'm just gonna have to get James to check it. Yep, just gonna have to get James to do it. So that was a failure. You're right about that, and it scared the hell out of me too. You should have seen all the smoke.
The contact wires that go up to the switches, as you see, they're all melted.
Man, that is awful looking. That's terrible looking.
Yes, it is. So we're going to cut all this back and redo it, and we're going to cut the bad section out of this wire and ohm it to see if it's got if it'll carry the load. And if it won't carry the load, we'll replace it, but I don't think we're going to have to. I think we can just cut it back and put new ends on it.
Holy cow. All right, well, what tools do you need from me?
My big
Need your big lead cutters. All right, guys, going to get big lead cutters. Back in a second.
Bought me one of them the other day. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It looks okay right there?
Yeah. See how gold it is and
I
clean
see
looks
it,
inside?
yeah.
That was burnt and dark in color. It looked like it'd been cooked, like you burn a piece of iron or something. You know,
Like
you heat
a
up a piece of metal and it changes color.
Yeah.
I would say it's bad, but I don't think it's so many issue. We'll go ahead and ohm it just to make sure.
All right.
See what the resistance is on it. But I gotta take it loose on the other end.
So James really teaches me a lot about all this stuff. What he's doing is setting up his ohm meter, and he is going to check that lead for resistance. In a minute, I'm going to walk over and attach the other side, and we'll see if there's any resistance in the cable. It checks to whether it's good or bad.
Well, on the ground too. I don't think the ground got hot, but it wouldn't. Yeah, it's been hot too. See it right there?
Yeah.
Almost burnt too.
Yeah.
Change the ground too. That's the problem. All right, let me go take the positive loose and
Okay.
all these wires real quick. Worst case scenario, we'll cut about a foot out of that wire.
Hopefully it has enough excess.
Yeah, there's plenty. I'm trying to separate these wires. Mixed up. These two go together. These grounds. There's the positive. This positive wasn't. It's pretty loose over here too, Matt. You might have to periodically check these.
I may have to, yeah, because I checked them. Vibrations may have loosened them up or something, you know?
Yeah.
Because I thought I was okay with them.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Joseph, whenever we were going to fish today, the weatherman said it was supposed to drop to 6 to 12 knots yesterday, and it blew 20 all day. So I was like, well, I canceled the trip because I figured it was going to be nasty today. It's going to still be blowing. Woke up this morning, it wasn't.
Well, but still, even off. I don't know if you're going offshore or not, but
Yeah, that swell's still going to be standing.
the swell is still there. Yeah, I had a guy that wanted me to take him, and you know, and I have so much to do on the boat, and I knew that you'd probably come today, and so I called and canceled on him. Plus, I knew that it was going to be a little bit for that 25, and you know, a little bit rolly out there.
Yeah, it's going to be rolly today. All right, if you can go to the other side.
Yeah.
Where the meter is, and pass me the negative lead.
Yeah.
And put the positive lead on the red wire I took loose over there where it's cut back, and see if it counts.
Okay, James, what are we doing now?
We're replacing the ends on these cables. We owned them and they came out good and acceptable anyhow. And we're gonna just replace the ends and hook everything back up.
So we have gone out and we have found some. We've been hunting for 20 minutes for my electrical connectors box that we think that Matthew got and took home, but we've got these in another box that we had. What are those called?
Battery lugs. Battery
lugs. And so he's going to put that on there, and I think he's going to beat the stew out of it.
Since we ain't got
I don't have a crimper, so he's going to beat it.
That's what we're going to do. We'll make sure it don't come off.
That ain't coming off.
Nope, not at all. You want to cut this one off for me, Matt?
Well, no, I'm going to hand you these. Can you do it from there?
Yeah.
Because knowing me, I would screw it up.
Nah, you won't screw it up. Just tie it back here. We're just going to cut it back. That's in your video.
Those ones, didn't we bend them that night, or you bent them?
Yeah, I bent them last time we were working there. Just gonna cut this back about 3/4 of an inch, and that's about the depth of a standard battery lug.
And all those look good back there?
Yeah, they all look clean. I think your problem was on the back side. You weren't getting a real good connection on that starter, and you put all that power in them wires, and it gets there and it's got nowhere to go, and it overloads it into the wire and burns it. We're gonna need that next size up lugs. I thought these were bigger than that.
All right.
Oh no, I'm not going to hold on. See if I can force it. I got it. Yeah.
Did you get it?
Nope. No. Okay. I can trim some of that wire back.
I don't know. This may be super boring to watch, but it fascinates me even here watching it while I'm editing it. The lug that we had was just was having a hard time fitting, and so he was able to trim back some of a little bit of the excess wires, and it doesn't cause any capacity. It's just so interesting to me and useful watching how he does things, and I will certainly keep this as archive. If I ever have to do it, I can refer back to it and kind of follow along what he did. I wish you could have seen my face when I started smelling that smoke and opened up that door and it was all full of smoke coming out like a chimney.
Bet you're spazzing.
You know how I don't like things like that anyway.
Oh yeah.
It was a good fire drill though, and we did all the right procedures.
That's good. Sorry, you won't be able to see me hit this time. The wire's too short.
Well, you don't need to worry about that.
There's two.
All right. That's great. So that whole thing that you've been working on is the ground post?
Yep. So I got a plate that goes to give you a little bit more room between the wires. Because the posts are really tight together.
Let me ask you this, if I ever need, I turned that charger off just then. If I ever need to ground something, can I ground it to there? Is that a ground point?
Yes. Yes, it is. You can ground it there. Actually, the way this wire's set up, you can ground it anywhere on the block.
Okay.
But you'd be better to go straight to this post. The less power you flow through this block, the better it is for it. Because electricity flowing through a motor with water creates electrolysis.
Yeah. Which I gotta check my damn. I got some maintenance I gotta do. So it's been probably a year, well, not quite a year since I changed the oil. It's probably time to change the oil, don't you think?
Yeah.
But I only put about 300 hours on it.
Was it the company recommend on your oil changes?
I don't know.
Change mine every 100 hours.
You do? Well, it's time to change oil then.
What kind of oil you running? You running non-detergent? You running synthetic?
Synthetic.
You're probably alright. If you're running non-detergent, you want to.
It's that super duper stuff. It's this, here's the thing of it right here. Is this, put those glasses right there so they don't get broken.
Okay, thank you.
It's this, Rotella T.
Yeah, the synthetic Rotella T, that's good oil. You're probably alright, but I would try to change it.
And I definitely need to change it in the generator, although the generator has probably only been run for 50 hours since since I've owned the boat.
How many kW is that generator?
10 or 12. Maybe 10.
How much you like?
We're just twinning.
Oh my gosh, y'all are so something. Look at y'all. So y'all are having so much fun?
Are you? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about today?
My favorite part of the day was getting to meet new people and getting to be on this amazing boat. It's really cool.
Wasn't that nice? That was a nice thing to say. Aren't you the nice person? Thank you. That was very sweet.
That was awesome. All right, so we'll go back up. You go up. I'm gonna put my Band-Aid on. You just got.
So you think it did not hopefully get into the starter?
No, I don't think it got in the starter. I think it had a bad connection and it just overloaded the wires, overheated the wires right here.
That was all fouled up. Look at that. Holy cow.
You don't want your wires looking like that.
Man, that is no bueno.
Nope.
That's what I was smelling.
Yep. That and that main ground was smoked pretty good on the end.
God, can you believe that?
I can.
You ever seen something like that before?
I have. I worked on my buddies with the O-Search boat. Their contender caught fire and burnt because of a bad ground.
Is that right?
Burnt everything out of the inside the console.
That's another reason I got to get up the stairs on that bridge.
Well, we cleaned up a lot of that one day, but there's still a lot of work to be done in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing to play around about. Especially with the amount of wires. The problem is just the old dead wires. You know? It isn't it's just wires that you don't know if they have feed into them or not. That's where you play with fire. Literally. We gotta find
I guess that's why they had it zip tied.
I mean, we can zip tie it back up right there on that bar. You got some more zip ties?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Let me go get them?
Yeah. All right. We'll do that. That'll save us a lot of headache. So the leads are, this is real dirty, but that's red tape.
Yeah.
This is
Black tape.
Right, and usually the grounds on this boat are bigger wire, so I ain't sure what gauge this is. This is 2/0, and this is probably going to be 1/0 because it's bigger, but it's not marked.
So bigger wires on the ground side.
It's usually yes, your bigger wire is your ground, but in this case, these are all marked anyhow, so we're all right. Takes some guesswork out of it. Just make sure you don't stick the red on black. Then you will have some stuff on fire and melt. A good tip when you're messing with electricity, if you don't have really good memory, you can't remember where the wires go, use your cell phone and take a picture of it.
It's a good idea. Pro tip from James. It takes a lot of doing to get those things tight, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does, because the way the lugs are bent, you can interlock them all together to where they'll tighten up really well. But if you put them like where this bend opposes that bend, you don't put them all the same way, when you pull them down, they won't seat and they'll feel tight, but they won't be.
So do I need to get some of that and put on there?
You gotta get it right now, but in the future, yeah. I didn't have any. I brought some of them.
What's it called?
It's called dielectric grease. It comes in a little squeeze tube, like caulking, or not caulking, but like RBT silicone. It looks kind of like a tube like that. You can buy it at Home Depot or Parts House. Home Depot is probably the cheapest place to get it.
Try it out.
Grab my meter real quick.
Here are your glasses.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go try it out. I'm gonna leave this camera right here.
Alright.
Just crank it up, let it run a second, turn it off.
Yeah, let's just fire it up and see where we're at.
Hi, what do you think?
Is that how hard it's been started?
That's a lot easier than it has been.
Nothing got hot. I come back over and check the wires immediately, make sure nothing was warm. Nothing's warm. I think you had bad connections that just overloaded and smoked the wires.
So many thanks to James for coming and helping us out. I mean, it's just tremendous how nice a guy he is and how much he does to help folks out. I'm so grateful. So we were able to get the boat cranked and moved a couple of days later, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He is just he's a really good friend. So in the meantime, a nice guy sent me these pictures on the internet. This is us offshore during the America's Cup 74. That's at the dock. And this is 1974, also during the America's Cup. Really neat old pictures of String of Pearls back in its Newport days. And I'm very grateful for him sending that to me. Neat to look at. Please join us next time as we get back to work on the Pilot House. Thanks for watching String of Pearls Charter Boat.